Hi, welcome back and thanks for watching again. My name is Rito. Today we're not going to be listening to any guitar tones specifically, but it definitely is going to be related, so I hope you find it interesting. I like to go to thrift stores to look for used guitars, amps, and pedals, and find beat up stuff that I could possibly repair or maybe mod or use for parts. And I like to salvage old parts from used audio equipment as well, and I wanted to feature a specific type of equipment that I look for when I go to thrift stores. And the reason why I specifically look for these things is, one, because they're really cheap, and that's mainly because no one wants them anymore and no one really uses them anymore, and they don't really have any sort of I don't know if you could say forward compatibility, but they really aren't compatible in today's world unless you're using that specific old equipment. So it's not like some vintage audio amplifier that you could use today, or a turntable or speakers or anything like that. And so that makes these things really cheap. I usually find them for around $5 or so. And the other reason why I look for these things is because they usually have some op amps and other chips that are of interest for us pedal builders or people who like to do DIY pedal stuff. And so it's a really great source to find these chips that we could use for pedal projects, but we don't have to spend whatever it is, like $50 or maybe more for a used somewhat decent amplifier. So these things are really cheap if you can find them. And so when I go to thrift stores looking to salvage parts for a pedal project, I usually look for these things because they are the best source for certain chips. Anyway, let's dive into, I have another video already shot looking at one of these that I just recently bought, and we'll crack it open and take a look inside, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So let's go into that segment, and I hope you enjoy the video. Okay, so welcome back and thanks for watching. This unit here is a TIAC AV-550D. The unit itself is not important at all. At least the specific unit here today isn't really what I'm after. But this is a Dolby Surround controller or sort of decoder from the 80s. And these things were big back when we had VHS, and maybe I think even into Laserdisc era. But before we had the modern Dolby Surround system, these units were available to decode the surround sound that was sort of embedded into your regular VHS tape. But anyway, I thought I'd show you what this is, and we'll do a quick run through of the front panel so you get an idea of what it has, and then we'll go inside and take a look at the components inside. So hopefully you enjoy the video, and let's crack this open and take a look inside. Okay, so I'm just going to do a quick front panel pan of this. Again, this video isn't going to be about this specific piece of equipment, or I'm not really going to talk about any of these AV Dolby Surround decoders. We're just using this as an example to get some cool components out of the circuit. And so if you ever owned one of these in the 80s or 90s, this could be a fun flashback moment for you. But I want you to take a look at this part right here in the middle. It says surround, and then there's a knob for delay. And so that's something that I definitely look for when I'm scouting out these at thrift stores. And so anyway, there's a quick view of the front panel. Okay, so we're taking a look inside, and you can see all the usual components: capacitors, transistors, resistors, diodes, whatever. And there isn't a whole lot as far as IC chips go, but I wanted to sort of lower the camera into this section right here and show you one of the reasons why I choose these units. And so hopefully that's in focus. And so you can see two chips, actually three, there's one on the far right, but the two chips, the one on the left is an MN3101, and the one on the right is an MN3008. And the 3008 is a 2048 stage bucket brigade chip, and the 3101 is a clock generator slash driver for bucket brigade chips. And so these two would be a classic pairing that you'd find in old school chorus pedals, delay pedals, flanger pedals. And some of these are really sought after, and some of them, well, they would have to be new old stock, but some of them go for pretty good prices. Although the 3008 doesn't have enough steps to make it into a sufficient delay pedal. And so I think, I could be wrong, so correct me in the comment section, but I think the old Electro Harmonics Memory Man used two of these chips, the two 3008s, to generate 300 milliseconds of delay time, but I could be wrong again. The big chip on the far right, I think that is just a Dolby chip with the logo printed on the chip. I'm not sure. But the other chip that I wanted to show you is this thing over here, and hopefully that's in focus. It's a 6458, and what that is, it's a LA6458 op amp, and that is Sanyo's version of a 4558. So pretty much all the electronics companies in Japan made their own version of a 4558 at some point in time. And so Sanyo had theirs, which was the LA6458. And I think I counted 6 of those op amps in this unit. You can see some germanium diodes, some more back there, and a bunch of transistors. And so, yeah, I think I counted 6 of those 6458s in here. And so for $5, 6 vintage, although used, op amps and a set of bucket brigade and clock generator chips is definitely not a bad deal. So anyway, this is just some of the stuff that I look for when I go to thrift stores. And I think I'll be taking this apart and pulling out some of the fun chips and using them for future projects. Hope you enjoyed this video, and as usual, thanks for watching.